Afternoon, fellow YouTubers and TikTokers. I haven't done a video for a while, or at least not from inside the motorhome, but yesterday was the start of my trip to Scotland for the next couple of weeks, and it's already been a bit of an adventure in the last 24 hours. So I set off from Shropshire. Everything had been checked out in the motorhome before I left, and I thought everything was okay. Then I decided to stop at Fleetwood in the central car park near the beach because it's quite sheltered. It breaks the journey up. It was only going to take me about 2.5 to 3 hours to get there, and my next stop off was going to be Strathclyde country park before Glasgow, and that was another 3.5 to 4 hours after Fleetwood, driving at motorhome speed, not car speed. So I thought, yeah, let's break it up at Fleetwood, and it's only about £7.50. It turned out it was £7.70 for the night for the parking. Pretty secure. Lots of other motorhomes. It's a dedicated motorhome car park. You'll see some pictures now if I pop them in. So I stopped there. You've got toilets with a PIN code. You've got sluice facilities if you want to empty your chemical waste. So to be fair, it's perfect, and Wire Council have done a great job putting that in for motorhomers. I did notice, and I was chatting to a couple of people who were there, that there are a lot of motorhomes parked on the Esplanade. Crazy, really. For the sake of paying £7.70 for a night, they'd rather park on the main road. What was worse, one of the guys was telling me there was a big tag axle motorhome in front of me, and he pulled off just before 6 o'clock because the car park is free. I think it's free 10 till 6 during the day, or you pay for 24 hours if you're a motorhomer, and you don't worry about that then. However, and that gives you the ability to sleep overnight in your motorhome. However, some of these guys are really abusing it, and they're going to ruin it for everyone else. They're literally parking in the car park during the day, and then when you've got to pay at 6 o'clock, they're going out onto the main road and they're parking on the main road. And there's a lot of motorhomes up there, and for the sake of price of a pint and a half, they'd rather do that. And what's worse is they're abusing the facility because they then move back during the day, so the system doesn't detect them as being overnight, because you can only do a 3-day stay there, but it doesn't record them because they've not been overnight, and then they're using the waste disposal and the toilets. So, I mean, basically, I think some of them are living there full time, and they're just moving their van back and forward between the road and the car park. And the council are going to get wise to that, and at some point they're going to slap double yellow lines along the Esplanade, or they'll just shut the motorhome stopover. It's like a motorhome there. They'll just shut it down, and they won't provide it anymore. They've already closed some of the parking further down the coast in Blackpool, Lytham St Anne's, because it was being abused there. So anyway, they're their own worst enemy, some of these people. But suffice to say, I got to the car park, thought, yeah, I'll pull in, set myself up, have no worries. I've got my lithium set up, so I've got all my off-grid power, and I'll rustle up something to eat, chill out, put my feet up, and watch the TV. And that's where the problem started. It would seem I had a power problem. Now, I'll come on to the TV and the power later on, but it initially started off with the TV wouldn't work. It was going on, but the screen wasn't powering up. So I did lots of Googling to try and find out what was going on here. Couldn't get it work, and I wanted to watch the football because Liverpool were playing Plymouth. Shouldn't have bothered watching it, actually, because maybe Liverpool would have won. But yeah, so I was watching the game. Liverpool lost to Plymouth. That's another story. However, I watched that on my iPad, However, I couldn't get that TV working. And then later on, the all the power went off. And you know your power's gone off because all the lights went off. I thought, what's going on here? Because I'm off grid. Couldn't work out what was happening. And I thought, you know what? I had a fuse blow. One of these 300 amp hour 48 volt block fuses. I think they call them the marine fuses. And it's a fuse on the leisure battery. And that blew a few months ago and it got changed. And I thought, I wonder if it's that. Because we detected that was loose at the time, and that's what had caused it to blow. And I spoke to Bluefix about it, and they talked me through changing it, and also checking all the other wiring, which I did. So I went out there. There I was, blowing a gale in a car park, emptied the garage to get at the battery, which is in a compartment, and hey presto, yes, fuse is blown. But I thought, got a spare, I'll put a spare in. So got my spare, put my spare in. And I thought, yeah, everything's okay. Came back into the motorhome, pressed the power display, and I thought, oh my God, no. The heating was on, and of course the heating would be drawing through the inverter from that power supply on electric rather than on gas. And I did look, and I thought, wow. In that split second, I looked as it was drawing the power, and there was about 3.5 kilowatt being drawn through the display. Well, I know the inverter's only 3 kilowatt, and you know what? Seconds later, bang, all the power, everything went off again. So, crying out loud. No spare fuse. So, what do? It was freezing cold last night. So, it was hunkered down. And luckily enough, what have I got? I've got my EcoFlow. Oh, I don't know if it's moving the camera. I've got my EcoFlow down there. Now my EcoFlow is 2 kilowatt and it's fully charged up. So with the trusty electric hookup cable through the window at the side, tiny little gap, put the power cable out into the electric hookup for the van, back into the EcoFlow. Yes. I got some power. And that effectively was powering up the van. It gave me power on the 230 plug sockets. You only get intermittent power on the 12 volt. Reason being, of course, the 12 volt power supply, the way that is wired, that's wired through the leisure. And of course, there's no leisure battery on, is there? So it must be to do with how it all works. But suffice to say, fridge. No, well. By the way, yeah, the fridge was having an issue. You might be able to hear some beeping in the background there. That is a power alert, because what's going on? Anyway. I'll just finish this. So I got some power, enough power to be able to run my fridge. So my freezer, my food didn't get rotten, to give me some lighting. Not enough to do the heating, so I switched the heating to gas. Because, to be fair, the heating, 3 bar, it's a kilowatt per bar. So that Aldi heating on electric can draw 1, 2, 3 kilowatt. So I wasn't going to waste the EcoFlow on heating. So I put it on the gas. And that was another tale. The 13 kilogram gas bottle was virtually empty. Well, halfway through the night, it became empty. Now, I'd bought another 6 kg bottle, and I already had a 6 kg bottle in there. However, I'm doing 2 weeks around the Cairngorms and Glencoe in the cold. And I want to be able to use all that for potentially heating, cooking, if I'm off grid. so I didn't want to waste that. So I hunkered down as if I was in a four-season tent under the eider down, with all the warm clothes on. But God, was it cold in Fleetwood. Looked overnight on Amazon, found some of those fuses and put them on order, and I put the delivery address for the next site that I'm at. So those fuses should be arriving tomorrow at this site that I'm sat on now. So that's where we were then. Then this morning, I actually spoke to the guys down at Blue Fix who did all my electrics for me, and apparently they have asked when am I down there next. So I've sorted something out with them. But these fuses are prone to blowing. They're really sensitive, and they're saying they're not using them, and they're certainly not using them anymore in an installation like mine. And they're going to change these marine fuses out for me and put mega fuses in when I meet them next. But hopefully the fuses that I've ordered will just get me by for the next few weeks. So that was the power. Left Fleetwood this morning because I thought, you know what, let's get out of Fleetwood, get on the road, get the engine going, get some warmth, and let's get up to where I'm staying tonight and tomorrow night. Because I get one night free off the Caravan and Motorhome Club, and that's at Strathclyde Country Park. So I get in here, hook up and everything. Lovely site, by the way, absolutely lovely. Bargain, absolute bargain, because I've got one night free, so I'm only effectively paying. I think I'm paying about 22 quid for one night. Well, for the 2 nights, because she's refunded me some money. So for 2 nights, I'm paying 22 quid. That's £11 a night. And I've got lovely pitch, virtually level. I've used my VB air suspension to level up. Didn't have to do much of a change because it's virtually level. Fabulous hot showers. Use the hot showers, the facilities. So I'm fine here. But powered it all up, and all these alerts are going. Well, good God. Decided to get the heating going. Of course, on the way here, I went and bought a new 13 kg gas bottle at Smith's in Cleveley's near Fleetwood. And I put that in the gas compartment, but I hadn't connected it up, and I had the other bottle switched off. So this was a learning experience. Aldi heating doesn't like it when you've not got gas attached, even though you're running on electric. It was objected, and it threw a wobbly, it threw error messages, and I got a glycol overheat message, which I'd heard people talk about online, which is a nightmare. I thought, God, how do I get rid of that? So I googled it, and it's you've got to disconnect the power in the Aldi unit, the main unit, to reset the system. So learned how to do that today. Had to do it a couple of times because I've got a couple of error messages I had to get rid of. One was the glycol, sorted that one out, reset it all. Then it said, you've not got your gas connected. Please sort the gas out and do another reset. Pull that plat. And I mean, it's barking really, the fact that you've got to crawl underneath to a control unit to pull a power cable out and plug it back in with the 12 volt one, just to reset the Aldi panel. Why the reset facility on the panel itself can't circle the power on the main unit, turn it off and on, I don't know. I mean, that is so piss poor of a design by these people. Anyway, cleared that. Heating's made sure the gas connected, turned the gas off on the Aldi control, so it's now on the electric hookup, and the fan is getting lovely and toasty. I've only got it on 2 bars, but already I think I'll be turning it down, because I'm going from a freezing night last night to a warm night tonight. Now, the other thing, back to the TV set. Doing a bit of a read up on this, because the TV set powers on, but you don't get a screen. And I think that's because there isn't a stable 12 volt power circuit coming from the leisure system through the 12 volt system to power that screen, because it really at the moment it's the only thing, apart from the heating, the only thing that is being powered off 12 volt in the whole van at the moment. So at the moment, until I get some fuses in, so we can get access to the leisure, the TV's out the window. But hey, I'm on holiday for 2 weeks going around Scotland, and it was only for the odd nights that I wouldn't be getting back late from cycling or going out for a beer with some of my mates up in Scotland. But yeah, it's been a bit of an experience. In 24 hours, I've learned quite a lot on what these motorhome engineers do to sort these things out. So I've probably saved my dealer a few jobs, because I've sorted them myself. But you may have heard that beeping while I've been talking, and that beeping is because, if you can see this, I don't know if you can see it, unfortunately, because we've got no access to the 12 volt, every 10 minutes I'm getting a low battery voltage alert on here, and then I have to acknowledge it just to get rid of it, and then I'm back to normal. But yeah, can't do anything about this, I don't think. I don't want to start disabling the alerts. Oh, and the other thing that I have to watch out for here, Swift tracking rang me numerous times yesterday and this morning. They're no longer ringing me till I get this sorted out, because we've got leisure battery alerts set on the tracker, and of course every time these alerts go off on the electrical system, it's sending a Sergeant alert through, and Sergeant then got control centre ringing me up to see if the motorhome's being stolen, which is a totally different tale, because I've got a new security system fitted, and if anyone wants to Google it, I've had Moving Intelligence Sentinel Ultimate fitted to this system with additional sensors. You'll see these up here. That's when I'm not in, it's fully armed. This whole place is flooded, so if anyone gets in, gets through a window, gets through a door, all the doors are censored anyway, but if they manage to get through a window, or even if the van was rocked and something fell in here, the alarm systems will go off and the control centre's alerted. But it's a S1, S5 alarm immobiliser tracking system with shield, all kinds of whizzy stuff in it. But it's, yeah, at least this one doesn't have to worry about leisure batteries, unlike the Sergeant system, which seems to rely on your leisure battery. Why they don't have an independent battery on their tracker, and have the tracker connected to the vehicle battery, because if someone's going to nick it, that's the way they're going to go. I mean, again, it doesn't seem quite right to do with the leisure battery, but hey, I need to look that one up. Maybe I don't need to have alerts on the leisure battery. Might be able to turn that off with Swift, but I won't be renewing Swift when the licensing agreement comes up end of this year anyway, because I've got Moving Intelligence in here now. But yeah, so that's my first 24 hours of my adventures to Scotland, and I'm actually over the Scottish border in Strathclyde, Strathclyde Country Park Camping and Caravan Club site, which is really nice and quite empty actually. But yeah, it's a good little stopover at a reasonable price, ready for me to hit the Highlands or tomorrow. And I'll be heading up through Lomond tomorrow, up to Glencoe, hoping to stay in Glencoe the night before I head over to Grantown on Spey. And thank you for listening to my mumblings, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, give us a like. If you've got any questions, put it in the questions box and I'll try and answer them. Thank you.